One.
Hello, Steve and Carrie here from HVAC Grow, and what we're going to do a little run through of things that work really effectively now in the HVAC industry. I was an HVAC contractor for a decade, from 2007 to 2017, and my company went from super small, we're doing like 70K a year, up to like $5 million a year by the time I sold it. So we've been through every stage. Carrie ran my marketing during that entire time, right from the start, right up to when we were quite big, and so we've seen every single stage along the way. And marketing, it keeps evolving. So what worked amazing in 2014 is not the solution anymore. And so what we're going to be showing you here is what works amazing right now in 2020. We have hundreds of HVAC companies that we work with all across the U.S. And some of the stuff that we're going to show is what's working for our clients. And yeah.
One of the things that we have that virtually nobody else has is a ton of data about what works and what doesn't work. And probably even more importantly, about what doesn't work. Since we work with so many companies across the country, some of the biggest ones in America, is that we have this amazing amount of data to know what works and what doesn't work. And literally, we're probably building close to 1,000 ads a month for our clients. And we get a great idea of how they need to be structured, how they need to be targeted in order to get these ads to work. And also, what works for different platforms and what platforms work the best. So that's the one huge advantage that we have here.
Yeah, let's dive in.
All right. So what we want to do right away is give you an idea of what where the best places are to advertise online for HVAC or HVAC, however you want to pronounce it. We've always pronounced it HVAC. So if it's different, my apologies. But anyways, that's how I'm going to pronounce it. So this is based on about 10 years worth of work online in the HVAC industry about what works. Now, one of the biggest things is that people think right away, Google Ads is one of the best places to go. Years ago, it was one of the cheapest places to advertise and one of the most effective places to advertise because not everybody was there. And if I remember right, Steve, at one point you had some really cheap cost per click on this when you were doing it.
Going back to 2007, it was nothing. It was $1 a click. And what I should have done is taken a massive loan out and dumped it all on Google Ads because it was so cheap. It was like $1 for things like new air conditioner or broken air conditioner or any of those massive keywords. And the problem is, then back at that point in time, we were the second company in my market doing Google Ads. And then it more people jumped in, and then eventually hundreds and hundreds of HVAC companies jumped in, and it pushes the price up. And then right to the point, you're spending hundreds of dollars per click, sometimes on specific keywords, and you can't make money out of that. Right. So
like Steve said, at one point, it was a great place to advertise because there wasn't a lot of people there. And there's been a number of things that have happened over the years. The fact that everybody's getting into it. It's a fast way to get on the first page of search results. So, but also you have inexperienced people doing Google Ads, meaning that they're just bidding up the cost per click or the keyword cost just to get on the first page, believing just getting traffic to their website will work to get them more leads. That's not necessarily the case. Now, don't get me wrong, Google Ads still work, but you have to have a big budget and it has to be done correctly. Google Ads is not the most cost-effective place to be if you have a small budget.
That's a good point too. Like the companies that we have that still do it are some of the biggest companies in various markets. So you can still do it, but you got to have a quite a large budget just dedicated to this to make it work. So there's much less expensive ways to drive leads. I mean, you want leads from a bunch of different areas, but this is pretty expensive to play in. And we help companies that are small and companies that are medium, companies that are big, but this is a pretty tough one to play in if you're quite small. So.
And here's an example why. This is one of our clients. They're in Dayton, Ohio. They're one of the biggest players in that market. The cost per click, meaning somebody sees the ad, clicks on it, goes to wherever we're directing them, and we direct them to a landing page. I'm going to give you a little bit more info on that shortly. So that each click right now is averaging almost $16. Now that's not a lead, that's not a phone call, that's not an email, that's just getting traffic to the website.
Great pricing. That's actually fantastic pricing compared to some markets.
Yeah, I didn't want to go and share some of the areas such as Florida, which can be well over $50 or $60 per click. But this was probably a better area to kind of have somewhere, that was relatively inexpensive. Yet when you think about it, a cost per click at $16 a click is still really high. And then you have to also factor in your conversions. Now, a conversion meaning is that when somebody clicks and then they either pick up the phone to call or tap the call on a mobile device or fill out an email form, you're looking at $52 per conversion, meaning it's costing them $52 to get a phone call or email out of those Google ads. And that is still not terrible on Google ads, simply because the way we've formatted it for them is that we've optimized conversions, getting as many conversions out of people that go to that landing page as possible. Now, just sending people to a home page doesn't work very well for this, because your conversion rate ends up being much lower. And I'm going to show you why here shortly. But
compared to other markets, that it's actually that's a fantastic price, and a lot of things go into that. There's a lot of moving parts that kind of drive the conversion cost down. But let's say you're in a market like Houston, you're spending $100 for one click to your website. So let's say 1 in 5 people. So let's say it's running good. 1 in 4 people will phone you from those clicks. So that costs $400 for one phone call. Let's say 1 in 2 people actually book a quote. Then you're at $800 for that one quote. And let's say 1 in 2 people buy. It could cost you $1,600 for one installation. It's insane. It's absolutely insane in some markets. So you just got to be really careful with Google.
Yeah, so you got to think about it as if you want to get leads for your business, and this is in the Dayton market, it costs about $52 to get a lead from it. So if your budget is less than $50 a day, you're not going to get a lead a day out of it. So you have to have a good budget in order to get Google Ads to work. So just to kind of show you, and so that's the conversion rate on their landing page is 30%. Now it's a little bit higher than that because we have different statistics that we're tracking via phone calls, but this is the actual what Google views as the conversion rate on it right now, 30%. So meaning 3 out of every 10 people that get to that landing page is converting into a phone call or email. Now that's still really good, but again, you have to think is that, 30%. So you're going to need 3, almost 4 clicks in order to turn that into a lead. And so here's biggest mistakes that we see with Google Ads real quickly. Sending ads traffic to homepage. Now, what I'm going to show you what I mean by that is this. And I will just call this up here shortly here for you. And I'm going to go over to here. So let's look at this. So what I did is this is a tool that you can use online called iSearchRoom. So I put myself in Florence, Alabama. I know that's a little obscure, but it's simply because I know this is one of the places where I see this type of thing all the time. So what I did is I put in furnace repair, Florence, AL, and it says I'm in Florence. Here's the search results that happen. So if you look at the search results up here, here's the keyword I put in. You've got Google Guarantee. And I won't get into Google Guarantee just yet, but here's one here. So right away, mistakes I see here, and I didn't put that in my list, is that it doesn't say furnace repair. So you've got furnace repair as a search, but it doesn't say furnace repair here. This is better on this one because right in the ad, it says same day furnace repair. This one doesn't. So there's 2 mistakes. Well, I mean, that's one mistake already, but let me show you the biggest mistake here. So if somebody clicks on this ad and goes over to this page here, this is what it looks like. Nowhere does it say furnace repair. And if it was air conditioning repair, nowhere does it say air conditioning repair. And it's not set up to convert, meaning that, what do you want people to do when they get here? You're not making it easy for them to contact this business. And there's a lot of other options. So people tend to click on all these different things. They scroll around. It really doesn't say much about them. And what does a bridge have to do with furnace repair? It doesn't have anything to do with furnace repair. It's a really bad example of what a landing page should look like. Now, this is what a landing page should look like. This is one of our clients here. And right away, they've got their coupon code here, a way to call, a way to get service by email. It says right away, same day air conditioning heating service. But even more important is what it looks like on a mobile device. So 90% of the traffic that's going to come to this is going to be on a mobile device. So right away when they get here, people are going to see important things. Do they do air conditioning heating service? Yes. What areas do they serve? Right there. Are they open and what are they doing with COVID? There's the answer right there. How do I call? How do I email? Answered right away. You're not searching around trying to find answers whether they do all this. It's like, yeah, I need help and I need it right away. And this is a quick way to call. So they can tap the call or tap to send an email. If they need financing, it's right there as well. So right away, we're answering those really important questions, and that increases the conversion rate really quickly. And well, not quickly, but it really increases the conversion rate on that.
Which isn't to say that JC Ham is not booking some jobs from what he's doing, but maybe just flip back to his page for a sec. Go to JC Ham for a sec, Carrie. Like, it's not to say that some people are not coming there going, okay, well, this is a local company, I'll give them a call. What I mean, like, let's say maybe 1 in 15 are picking up the phone and calling them, but if each person that goes there, if it's costing them $30 every time somebody goes there, the whole goal is you need your sword as sharp as you possibly can. You need to have as high as possible conversions, because Google is so darn expensive. Back with my company, if you go back 10 years, we could be very sloppy. Who cares if an extra 20 people came to the site and we didn't convert one of them? It cost us $20 total, right? $1 a click, who cares? We can be sloppy, but not anymore. You need to be really, really narrowly focused, convert maximum amount of people if you want to run Google ads. So
Exactly. So I'll just go back to this list here. So what you saw there is that you don't want to send traffic to the homepage, not having a specific landing page for your offer or service. Meaning, if you do furnace repair, you want a page about furnace repair. If you do air conditioning repair, you want a landing page about that. You can get away with both on those pages because people kind of see it as both. So, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to have a page full of indoor air quality on that as well, or hot water tanks if you do that sort of thing, or duct cleaning. You want to be specific to what people are searching for. And the other thing is bidding incorrectly on keywords. Now, the reason why I put that is that some businesses decide to do Google ads on their own, and they just bid up the cost of keywords thinking that that's the best way to get people to their website. That's not. You end up bidding on the wrong keywords, or you end up bidding too much on keywords, and it's costing you a lot of money. Anything you want to finish on there in Google Ads, Steve, before we move on?
No, just maybe very quickly. I'm just going to share my screen. There is 3 main ways, and that you're going to be able to drive traffic, and you're going to be able to drive business. And we're going to be jumping into those other ways, but just for like a very quick overview of what the other ways are. So what we were just going over here is it's mainly how to drive service work, but you can drive installation work from it too. It's one of the Google services, which we will run, but it's extremely expensive. So there's 2 other big ways that we're going to dive into next. So one is, and we'll just touch on this briefly, building up your own web infrastructure. So it's the free way to drive leads, but it's the long-term game. So what probably the most cost-effective way nowadays for HVAC contractors to drive leads, and we're going to do a deep dive into that probably next, is via social media. So there's only 3 big ways. There's web infrastructure, building up your own web presence. There's Google services, or there's social media. Those are your 3 big areas. So we're going to dive into that next, but just to give you a bit of an overview of what you're looking at here. So.
All right, so now I want to show you the top 2 places to get leads online right now from what we found. Oops, decided to jump around on me here. Come on. All right, number 2, sound like Casey Kasem counting on the top 40 here, but number 2, Google Guaranteed. Now, this is also known as Google Local Service Ads, and what they are is it's pay per lead, not pay per click. Right now, we're seeing about $26 per lead, and you only get charged from Google when you actually get a lead, meaning that somebody picks up the phone and calls you via the Google Local Service Ads. So it's, to pay $26 a lead compared to what you saw with Google Ads, what we saw on Dayton, that's about half of what the cost is, which is pretty darn good. And there is a reason why, Google sees this as the next best way to go with ads, is that they're telling us right away that they want this, because if you look here right away, so when somebody's, does a search here for HVAC, Orlando, Florida, what you're seeing up here obviously is the search term. But here is your Google Guaranteed, or your Google Local Service Ads, right at the very top of the page. Now, if you have, there is a process to get into this area here, and you have to be vetted. You have to have security checks, that type of thing, because they want to make sure that they're promoting good businesses. And then also making sure that you're managing this properly. So if you manage this properly, Google rewards you by getting you even more leads. Now you can see the ads that we were talking about down here. So these have really been pushed down. They used to be right at the top, but now it's these Google local service ads right at the very top. So Google's telling you or telling us, hey, we want you to start using Google local service ads. And the nice thing is you're not going to get charged unless you actually get a lead. So whereas somebody clicks here, you're getting charged for that click. Whereas here, you're getting charged for the lead.
It's a process to get into the Google local service ads, the Google guaranteed. So it can take a couple of months. We've seen it take longer than a couple of months, especially with COVID. We've seen it take way longer than that. So there's a whole process. We help you. Our team helps you get into Google guaranteed. We've assisted a ton of companies getting on board to there. There's a whole process. You just got to answer the questions in a certain way. You got to be careful what you say, what you don't say, and they'll do a background check on you. And the process usually just keeps getting stalled. So you kind of got to keep pushing it forward. But we think, one of the reasons it came out with Google Guaranteed was contractors hate using conventional Google ads, right? They're overpriced. It's very easy to lose money. So it came up with this whole new system, and they're suppressing the prices. So there is too many companies now in some markets, in the big markets sometimes, trying to get into Google Guaranteed and trying to pull leads from it. So what they're going to do, of course, they're trying to suck in every contractor they can. And then over time, who knows if this is a year down the road, a couple years down the road, they're going to start raising prices. It might be $50, it might be $100 a lead. So right now there's an opportunity. Get in as quick as you can and start using it and start making money from it, because over time they're going to start making it more and more expensive the same way that they did conventional Google ads.
Yeah, and also it's really important to manage it properly. We have a team that can help you manage it. Google wants to know what happens with every lead that they send you. So if a lead turns into a job, you need to feed it into the system to let them know so that they can start delivering you more and more. So it's not just a matter of putting up the ad and expecting it to work. You also need to manage that as well. And so the number one best place right now we find to deliver leads for our clients is Facebook ads. And it's obvious. The thing is that you're probably seeing this video right now because you got here from Facebook ads. Now, it works very well in the HVAC industry as well for installs, and we're seeing it for service work now too. So the cost per conversion, now we're not talking a click, we're talking a conversion. Here's an example, $12.44 for a conversion. That means they got an email form filled out saying, hey, I'm interested in an install. And for $12.44, you consider that Google ads that we saw was almost five times as much to get that conversion. And that was likely for a service job, not for an install like this. So you can see this is pretty darn cheap here when you consider $12.44 a conversion. Now, this is for a furnace tune-up ad. So the cost per conversion on this, $7.87. Now we're talking like 7 times less than what you saw for Google ads. Now, this is Detroit. This is the month of September 2020. So this is fantastic to see when you start seeing cost conversions this low on this. And what I can do is I can show you.
Surprisingly, installation leads overall are actually easier to get on social media and less expensive to get usually than service ads. But there's a certain recipe, and we've ran tons and tons of service ads for HVAC companies. And there's a certain recipe of the ad that actually works. And if you do a consult with us, we can kind of show you, we can do a deeper dive and kind of show you, how it works and what's working. But it's there's certain things and certain targeting, there's certain kind of ways to structure the ad that will get you service work.
You can see here, since this ad started running on the 22nd of September, 9 leads, $7.87. They spent just over $70 to get 9 leads for a furnace tune-up. And also over here, I'll just quickly show you install leads. This is the one we're showing you here. So this one here, 49 leads, $12.44 a lead. So
this is where we say, the opportunity on social media is astounding. It's probably where Google was a decade ago, 12 years ago, right? So it's like, you need to be pulling out of some Google services and putting your money into social media. because if you run it right, like what this is, that's 49 installation leads. Each installation lead, what market are we in?
Louisiana.
Louisiana. So let's say the average installations, who knows, maybe $5,000 or something like that for like an air handler plus like a basic AC or something, right? So each one of those leads is somebody shopping for a system, right? So that's 49 people delivered to them, showing their name, email address, or phone number, what they're interested in, delivered to their inbox or delivered to their phone. But the key is there's other keys to it. I mean, you got to quickly call the customer. You got to jump on it. It's no different than any other lead, but those are, for $12 a piece, you can't beat that. This is also only going to you. This is not going to a group of people. So any of the ads that we run, it's using your logo, your phone number, your information. It's only going to you. You're not sharing these like the big lead generation companies.
Yeah. So Steve led into something really important here, is that there's mistakes you can make with Facebook ads too. One of the biggest ones that I see all the time are companies using boosted posts. So what you do is you put a post on your Facebook page and you just pay Facebook a little bit more to have it exposed to everybody else. That's a huge mistake, because we see that you're just throwing money away on those ones. Also, targeting the wrong interests. There are specific interests that work in order to generate leads. Facebook has a ton of data on people and what they do and what their interests are and what their actions are online. So you could target people that you have the right interests. For example, I mean, the one interest that everybody targets is air conditioning. The interesting thing is that that's not one of the best interests to target. We know the interests to target that work even better than that, because most businesses think, oh, I'll just target the air conditioning interest. That's one of the more expensive ones to target that actually delivers less leads. And so we have that. You have to make sure you target the right ones. And because of all the data that we have and all the work that we've done, we know the ones to target. Also, not formatting the ad properly to convert. You can't just put your logo in and say, hey, we do HVAC installs or air conditioning installs or furnace installs. That doesn't work. You got to format it properly to grab attention. And there's like, video does work, but that video's got to be done correctly. Some people just put up a video where it's like a commercial. That doesn't necessarily work. It's got to be something that grabs attention quickly and enough so that people still have enough time to read it without making that. You want to stop them from scrolling, because Facebook will just continue to scroll if you don't have something that grabs attention. Also, running an ad just to send traffic to your homepage, that doesn't work. Same problem that we discussed about Google Ads. And finally, you have to make sure you contact those leads in less than 5 minutes. If you don't have a system that notifies you right away when a lead comes in, and you wait an hour, 2 days, a day, or even 30 minutes, you could lose that lead. If people's activity or their habits online or their attention span is really short, you need to contact them in less than 5 minutes. And actually, less than 2 or 3 minutes is the best way to go. Any longer than that, you're likely not going to be able to convert that lead.
We have more content to cover here, but if anybody wants to book a consult with us, so it's a totally free consult. We can do a deep dive into your market. We can probably pull up other contractors right around you. That's what we do as a next step from here. Where's the button going to be in the page, Karen?
It's either, depending if you're on a desktop, it's going to be beside the video. If you're on a phone, it's going to be below the video. You won't miss the button. It'll just say book online now.
So either to the left or the right or right below this, there's a button, and you can just book a free consult with us, and we'll do a deep dive into your market, kind of pull out some information right around you so you know what to expect with ads and social media. So,
yep.
Or any other ads that we're doing for you.
Exactly. So, Steve, I'll let you take it from here.
Was that the last slide there?
That's the last slide. Yep.
Yeah, no, that's the most important thing is, a lot of companies, I'd say at least half of them, they're doing something by paying one of these lead generation companies a bunch of money to get leads that then are shared with a bunch of other companies. And in my opinion, it's absolutely insane. So, we ran about 1,200 leads a year going into the later years of my company. I mean, the first year we probably ran 20 leads or something, but it grew over time. Not a single one, nothing was generated via a lead generation company. In my way of thinking, that's absolutely insane. So let's say some lead generation company, and all the big guys, who knows what they do. I don't actually know what a lot of them, they're spending money on Google, or they're probably doing it through social media and Facebook, driving these leads, and then they get them the same way that we get leads for you, but then they share it and they sell it to, 8 different companies at $40, $50 a pop. It's absolutely insane. I mean, what happens is it attracts the bottom feeders. So companies that are just starting out have no ability whatsoever to generate their own leads. So the other 7 companies that are calling them are saying, "Hey, I'll do it for 4,000. I'll do it for 3,000. I'll do it for $2,500." They'll do it for wages, right? So you don't want that. You want to be getting leads using your own logo, your own branding, your own infrastructure that are only going to you. That is the right way to market. That's how I always did it with my HVAC company. Don't buy leads we don't sell leads, right? So we run your marketing for you. So it's a totally different setup.
Exactly. The other thing that we see a lot of times with these other companies, they're 2 big ones that we won't name, that what they do sometimes is they even recycle old leads. So let's say you haven't had a bunch of leads for a bit. So what they do is they have a lead that came in 3 months ago, and then they go and send it to that list of 10 people again. And so they end up calling that lead saying, "Hey, I saw that you wanted a new system." And they're like, "Well, that was 3 months ago." So that's one thing that you don't want to be doing as well. And they end up getting charged for that. So don't get caught in that race to call these people. Don't get caught in the race to the bottom for your pricing. As Steve said, you want your own marketing for your own business, that you only get those leads. Those are exclusive leads for you.
We work with small companies and big companies. So if you're a small company, you just want help in one very specific little area, it's way less expensive. We got something, we know what it's like. I've been there myself, to have a super small company and trying to put things together and figure things out. We can help small companies. We can help bigger companies, and we help some of the biggest companies in the United States for HVAC. So let us just get on a call with us. Let us show you what works, what doesn't. Do a deep dive into your area. Book a consult. There's a button below, or there's a button beside. Book it, and we look forward to chatting with you, and hopefully we can help you out.
All right. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.